represented. And, you know, a lot of people talk about, you know, the state of our community, not only with just students, but the state of the black community and how our students are. And I'm encouraged. You know, this group encourages me to make us, you know, push us to do more. And I want to publicly apologize to you all because, you know, from what I've heard from you all tonight, you know, we are obligated to do more. You know, these students are clearly reaching out saying, hey, you know, we're here. You know, we have the tools. We need you guys to help us move in that direction. So let me do this right quick, okay? Now, you have a pen, right? I want you to write this down for all of the students in here. My email address, okay, is joseph.lee@palmbeachschools.org, okay? My cell phone number is 561-644-9958, okay? So I want to be able to be a resource to you all. So what I said to a few of you earlier is that I want to have an opportunity to come to each of your student unions to sit down and talk to you and discuss what your issues are. You know, a lot of times as educators and politicians, you know, we perceive that we know what the problem is with our students. And that is the absolute untruth, you know, and I can give you an example. And the reason that I did that is that, first of all, let me make it, just say this, Mrs. Bazemore, who was going to be doing a presentation tonight, has gotten ill. And Dr. Robinson just texted me about 30 minutes ago, and she was headed over to check on us. So I'm actually representing both of them this evening. So I wanted to apologize on their behalf for not being here, but I just wanted to let you know where they are. And we hope that she'll be doing better this evening. But one of the things that I have been able to do with Dr. Robinson and Mr. Green, I think Mr. Green is in the back, and a few others, that we've had an opportunity of going to an alternative school every Wednesday, and we talk to a focus group of about 8 or 10 young men who are students at Turning Points Academy. And for those of you who don't know what Turning Points Academy is, it's one of our alternative education sites. And at that alternative education site, we have students there that have ranged from a lot of issues in regards to disciplinary actions at school, or they've been involved in things in the community, and the justice system that has gotten them to be housed there. So we've had an opportunity over the last month or so to have some real in-depth conversations with those students. And in those conversations, I've gleaned a lot of information that I think that is going to help me, you know, try to be a better educator, and for me to influence some things that, you know, I didn't recognize, or at least I thought was the case. And a couple of things that struck me the other day, that I had a conversation with a couple of young men at the table. And one of the young men told me that, you know, he said that his goal in life, he was 17, and his goal in life was to make it to 18 because his grandfather had left him $12,000. And he said he didn't think he was going to probably make it to 18, but that was his goal. And I left there paralyzed that was his life and that was his reality. There was another young man sitting next to him, and he just openly told me, he said, you know, why you keep coming here? Why are you sitting here? Why you keep coming here asking us these questions about what can I do for you? How can I support you? He said, I've been in 10 foster homes in the last 12 years. And every adult that I know has failed me. So why should I trust you? And I didn't have a good answer for him. All I could tell him was that I'm going to keep coming back here until you tell me what I can do to support you. But that's not even a fraction of the stories that are out there in regards to our students. It's not even a fraction. And part of my being up here today is to talk about our attempt in Palm Beach County with the Superintendent's Task Force to address the issues that are centered around some of the things that have caused our students to be impacted. So what I'm going to attempt to do very briefly, because I kind of feel, like I am letting the show down because of all these stars that have been up here. So I'm going to move very quickly to get out of the way of all of this brightness up here, because I just wanted you all to take the whole show. I started just hand my little part over to you guys to let you do it, because you'll probably do it much better than I will. But there were a couple of things that I wanted to share on behalf of Mrs. Bazemore, and also kind of infuse it in terms of what happens with the task force. So for very brief minutes, I will talk to you about the African American, Latino, and Gender Studies, as well as the Superintendent's Task Force for Black Student Achievement, with the emphasis on Black males. The African American, Latino, and Gender Studies goals were to help Palm Beach County schools with the compliance of the Florida State Mandate 003.42. In accordance to the legislator, the schools must include comprehensive African American history and the study of Hispanic women's contributions to the United States in curriculums K-12. Now, many of us don't know that is a part of our legislation, and I think that, part of what we are charged to do as a community, that if your children aren't exposed to those types of activities, that you request that be the case, because it is a mandate from our system. I work for the system, but we need to know what's happening and what's happening where and where it's not happening. So I encourage you as a community to make sure that you seek that out. Now, one thing that I heard tonight from some people in the audience, and it was unsolicited, they said, you don't ever, and I'm not challenging Inlet Grove students or Suncoast students, but they said you don't ever want to get into a history conversation with those students from Palm Beach Lakes, because they will get in you. Is that true? Is that true? All right. That's what I heard. Now, I'm not trying to, challenge you Inlet Grove or Suncoast, but I heard they were pretty thorough on that. So, but so for that regard, I know that they have a very solid program that emphasizes African American history and African studies. So that is important. One of the goals or the purpose of this legislation was to develop policies to establish and maintain racial, cultural, linguistic diversity among schools personnel, to implement research-based programs that reduce racial achievement gaps, to promote active parent and community education involvement in positive student outcomes. So these are some of the things that, kind of infused in what that department does, and we want to make sure that carries over into what we do into the community. Now, Mr. Gent came up earlier and he talked about the improvements in Palm Beach County, and I must admit, we've been working extremely hard to try to move that needle in a positive direction. But, by no means is, a 5% increase, cause for us to, celebrate and shut things down. It's an accomplishment, and we're happy about that. But one of the realities of our existence is that we still look at 38.1% of black students are proficient in reading. And overall, in our suspension rate, we have a 13% suspension rate in our school district. Now, if you're talking about proportionally, the number of students that are African American or Hispanic to the others, there is no way that we should have those numbers with comparison of 3% of white students. One of the things that I'll move quickly with so I can get off and let you guys finish up here, because you've done such a great job, is kind of talk a little bit about the task force. The task force is many of you in the audience I see that are members of the task force, and I encourage you to encourage others to participate. the task force is moving in the direction of where we want to be an action committee. You know, we want to actually make some things happen and really be impactful as a system. Not only that we're working and moving towards graduating students, but we have a real impact on our system. I always say this, and many of you all here that come to our task force meetings, but, you know, we've made some strides. You know, not only have we, you know, we've done some strides in increasing the graduation rate, but we've done some actual tangible projects that we are proud of. You know, I see Mrs. Moffitt out there, who has been very instrumental in us working to try to expand our libraries. We have one of our barbers, Reggie, who used to be my barber, has opened up a barber shop. Has a barber shop where he has a library in the barber shop, and in that barber shop, he's able to encourage students as they come in to read books on their Lexile level. So based on that vision, you know, we have stretched out and garnered resources and bookcases and thousands of books that were donated from different places. And we're in the process of opening up another library and a barbershop in the Glades. And we have plans on 8 other barbershops that we're going to go into our community. That's just a small snippet of some of the things that we're doing in the task force. But the task force, again, like we're asking our students to tell us what we need, the community needs to tell the task force what is most important to them as well. So I encourage you, if you are part of the task force, if you know someone that would be impacted to the task force, that you join us and that you bring your ideas to the task force and you tell us what direction you want to go in. Because again, it's not my task force, and it's really not the superintendent's task force, it's the community's task force. And the community is the only people that can diagnose what's wrong with someone is the person that is, you know, if I have a pain in my side, I'm the only one that can tell you where that pain is and how that pain feels. So we need to hear that from the community. And I encourage that you all come and participate. And I also encourage these young men and women that are here that you all come to our meetings. What I will make sure of is that Brother Carl, or when you all email me or call me, that I find out the dates of those task force meetings, and you come in and you listen in and you chime in where you think is most appropriate. Again, I'm gonna wrap up, but I just want to say that you know, I want to commend Brother Carl. You know, Brother Carl. You know, you say what you want to about him, but he's trying. He's trying. He's out in the community. He really feels passionate about what we should do for our students. And you know, as I've said to other groups that he's asked me to come out to speak and talk to about what we're doing in the system, you know, I don't care if there's 3 people here. I'm going to continue to come and support Brother Carl, because this is a worthwhile cause, because these are our children. And, you know, I always, you know, someone was telling me about, you know, why do you, you know, always want to go and where people ask you to speak to help support students, because I'm raising 2 young men myself, and I want to make sure that they have somebody to marry. That's important to me, and I'm also counting on that Social Security still being around for all of us. So I got to keep this going, okay? It's all about obligations. Again, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Please join the task force. We need you. We need your ideas. Unfortunately, I want you all to email me, because I have to leave. I coach my son's basketball team, and I'm 30 minutes late for the practice right now. So please excuse me for leaving, but I hope you all wrote down my email address and phone number as well. So if anything that I can do to support you, please give me a call. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kirby Desvalens, and I would like to thank you all for participating here, for coming and taking your time off and joining us. Florida Statute 1003.42 The Florida Statute 1003.42 pertaining to the African and African American History and Fusion curriculum reads as follows. Members of the institutional staff of the public schools, subject to the rules of the State Board of Education and the District School Board, shall teach efficiently and faithfully, using the books and materials required that meet the highest standards for professionalism and historic accuracy, following the prescribed studies and employing approved methods of instruction, the following. The history of African Americans, including the history of African peoples before the political conflicts that led to the development of slavery, the passage of America, the enslavement experience, abolition, and the contributions of African Americans to society. Instructional material shall include the contributions of African Americans to American society. The Palm Beach County School Board is committed to having all principals, assistant principals, guidance counselors, instructional and non-instructional staff, and school police officers trained in the African and African American History and Fusion curriculum, as per the Achievement Matters for All Joint Action Plan. Priority Action Steps 615 and 618. The school board approved this joint action plan between the Coalition for Black Student Achievement and the Palm Beach County School Board of February 3rd, 1999. Thank you. I would like to welcome Attorney Rhonda Van Hayes.
Good evening. All right, that's much better, much better. Before I get started, would you please join me in recognizing Peter, Alex, Jenna, McCoya, Kirby. Did I miss anyone? Brandio, and you are? Israel. Please stand. Please give these students a round of applause. I was very impressed by their presentations. Kirby, you stole most of my speech, so this will be very quick. First, I bring you greetings from Miami-Dade County Public Schools, where Alberto Carvalho is our superintendent of schools. Also, on behalf of Senator Tony Hill, the chairperson of the Commissioner's Education Task Force on African American History, it's my pleasure to be with you this evening, quickly to share what Kirby already told you. In the state of Florida, there is a law that mandates the teaching of African American history in every school district in the state. That law was passed in 1994. Guess how many districts have actually implemented this program? 2? 67? 8. 8. Those 8 counties are Miami-Dade, of course, Pinellas, Palm Beach, give yourself a round of applause. Broward, Alachua, Gadsden, Volusia, and St. Lucie counties. All of the other school districts are attempting to implement this mandate. In the legal field, a mandate is not a may, it's a shall. So since 1994, most of our school districts have been derelict in presenting this type of information to our students. I'm asked quite often as I speak around the state, why is African American history so important? It's a baffling question to me because no other community is asked the same about their history. So I tell them that African American history should not be relegated to the shortest month of the year. The law intended that this curriculum be taught through integrated curriculum across every content area, not just in the month of February. Why is that important? It enhances and improves cognition. What is cognition? I'm also a professor, sorry. What is cognition? It is the mental action or process of acquiring knowledge and understanding through thought, experience, and the senses. It is my firm belief that a student cannot acquire knowledge without the ability to associate it with a thought or experience. The African experience is unique. It's powerful and tangible and gives our students the ability to self-identify. The immersion of African and African American history can be used, as Dr. Coggins points out in his Palm Beach presentation, as an affirmative tool to closing the achievement gap, building harmony, as you see here this evening, and positive perceptions, to build cultural competency and appropriate behavior. So the challenge for us as a task force and for each of you tonight is to find creative and effective ways to ensure that the rich and amazing history of Africans here in America is not simply taught, but appreciated in every classroom throughout the state. I will share with you that earlier this year I had the opportunity to meet with Sabrina Fulton. She's the mother of Trayvon Fulton. And we were meeting in her office, and this was a couple of months ago, and the anniversary of her son's death was approaching, and so was his 20th birthday. And as we discussed things with her foundation, I began to pause and look at her to wonder about her strength in such a difficult time. And as we chatted, I could not help but ask her, how was she able to keep going in light of everything that she's gone through? The senseless murder of her child, the unanswered questions, the trial, the publicity, the attacks, the criticism, and even the verdict of not guilty. She simply looked at me and said, Rhonda, my son represents so many in this country. So today as I stand here, you may say, what does that have to do with African American history? Sabrina Fulton is a woman of color. And what she has taught all of us, and what Frederick Douglass has taught all of us, is that without struggle, there is no progress. And so my message to you tonight is that you should demand that African history is taught in your child's classroom, elementary, middle, and high school, because our history is important to our future. Thank you for the invitation. Good night.
My name is Donna McCray. I'm a member of the Black Student Union of Palm Beach Lakes. And I want to just give you guys a little insight about our BSU. The BSU of Palm Beach Lakes Community High School is a diverse group of high school students. We are compiled of various cultures, but we are all united as one to work towards a common goal. Our mission is to unify inner city youth and to empower them. Our goal is to uplift our immediate communities through education and community service. To us, education is the key to success, and community service is the key maker. We are the light of the community, and we need your support, the community support, to keep our light shining bright. I would like to also acknowledge Suncoast and Inlet Rose Black Student Union for being here. Thank you.
We're getting ready to get out of here, but I just wanted to kind of human back off of what our big sister just finished saying, Ms. Rhonda. Power really conceived nothing without a demand. And we here in Palm Beach County have been working feverishly for the past, I got to say, at least past 30 years. And the progress that we've been made has been at a snail's rate. But I do believe it's now time for us to turn it over to the children. And I believe that they have the energy and the strength. And in fact, our next presenter that was supposed to be here tonight, but she became ill, was Ms. Myra Leva Bazemore, who's over the African and African American studies at the school district level. And we pray that she feels better. Dr. Robinson also was scheduled to be here tonight, and she went to check on Ms. Bazemore. So I'm asking all of you in the audience to please say a prayer for her. But I want to say to everyone, we need you. I mean, because, you know, we've been advertising this event for about 3.5 months. And I'm going to have to put some people on blast because it's a shame, really, the way that we treat our children. It's really a God shame. And I'm hoping and praying that those of you who are here tonight, for whatever reason, that God bless you with the Spirit to come out tonight to make an attempt to share with us what we need, and that is the proper spirit. I'm hoping that we can grow. Now, these students meet every Thursday at the school at 3 o'clock, and we want to start, those of you who are in the listening audience, we want you to start visiting these campuses. We want you to go to Suncoast and visit there. I was surprised when I went to Suncoast, they had about 22 young ladies and only one male. So your sisters, there's a job for you over at Suncoast. They need some help over there. And here, I'm excited to say that the class here is a law class at Inlet Grove. And we're hoping that we can start some kind of movement, some kind of legislation. Even with the superintendent task force, you know, we've been meeting now for 3 years. And many of you don't even know that we exist. And I know that that has to change. And I'm hoping that it's going to change tonight. And I want to thank our sponsor, Mr. Keith. He's the gentleman that's in charge of the Palm Beach Lakes group. And I want to introduce a pastor. He's over Jay's ministry, and Pastor Ronnie. And I want to send a signal to the other clergy inside of Palm Beach County. You know, we in Palm Beach County, we identified the church because we thought at first that was going to be the leading group inside of Palm Beach County. We even drew up a plan for them to engage. but because of the slowfulness of our ministers, we haven't had that kind of contact. And I'm not saying that out of disrespect. I'm saying that out because we really need those who profess love. Jesus is love. God is love. Everyone that say that they love God, love Jesus, this is what love is supposed to be about. Making a better world, making a better future for ourselves. And I say this from the deepest state of humility. We got to change. And the change don't start with someone else. Atonement is with yourself. It's not an external process. It's a process where you yourself, because you know yourself whether or not you've made an attempt to assist these children or not. And the way that we are doing. And I'll say this and I'll let you go. Last night I was at the City Commission meeting here in Riviera Beach, and I'm really ashamed of them also because we invited every city commissioner, the city manager, everybody. And we got to start saying things that are real. You know, most of the time, you know, my big sister, Ms. Debbie, she'd always get a little sentimental with me when I point out people. But one of the things I say to everyone, you can't fight something that you don't put in the front of you. You can't hit a target that you don't erect in the front of you. And if we say that we love our future, we love our children, we got to have a target. And I'm asking you from the deepest state of humility, take a look at the students at Palm Beach Lake High School, Black Student Union, take a look at Suncoast, and please come to Inlet Grove. And we're just getting started. And we hope that before Mr. Gent leaves this year, we're going to be able to utilize him the way that a superintendent need to be utilized, because these children now are taking the reign. I'm getting ready to get in the back of the bus. And they're going to be, Alec, the pastor, and everybody else going to be driving this machine. So y'all get ready for them. Take a serious look at them. And we sincerely thank you for coming out tonight. And we pray that Myra get better. And we pray that you take a critical look at the African and African American Studies Department. With our slowness, we're losing our footage. Because right now that class used to be an honors class. It's no longer that. And the longer we continue to act so slowful, you know, we got so many laws been passed. That was the reason why they read the Florida law. If I ask inside of the audience here right now, when did Florida apologize for slavery? Most of us don't know. And if I ask you what month, what date, we still don't have a clue. And if I ask you how was the process, how did we do that? That's crazy too. So I'm going to say thank you, and I pray that y'all help us, and we can go. Love you.